Welcome back. Today we are going to talk all about the 10 biggest mistakes that people are making on Pinterest today. So there are a lot of mistakes going on out there, misinformation, old information, things that used to work in the past that just no longer work anymore. So today we're going to talk about those. We're going to dispel some rumors and really just focus on making sure that we keep our Pinterest strategy simple. Hey, I'm Michelle. I am a Pinterest manager and marketing strategist, and I like to keep Pinterest simple and create strategies that keep you off the platform so you're not spending all of your time just on Pinterest. So let's talk about the 10 biggest mistakes people are making on Pinterest today. The first mistake, they worry too much about how many followers they have. So Pinterest is not like Instagram, okay? So followers doesn't make as big of an impact as you would think. Followers on Pinterest are nice to have. It's great to have them. The benefit to having a lot of followers is with brand deals, they like to see a lot of followers. So for that, yes, that part is important. But as far as people actually seeing your pins, your boards, everything you're putting on the platform, followers really doesn't make that much of a difference. They will see more of your pins if they interact with a pin that you have before. So creating eye-catching pins with great titles, descriptions, and leading to great content is the way you're going to grow on Pinterest. And you don't have to worry too much about having a ton of followers unless you're planning on doing a bunch of brand deals. I wouldn't worry about that metric. I don't worry about it on my account personally. It does not matter to me how many followers I have. Next is being inconsistent. So consistency is one of the most important parts of your Pinterest marketing strategy. And it can also be the most challenging to do, really, for anyone, even me. I took a couple months where I hardly pinned on my own Pinterest account because I got busy with my business, right? Like, it happens. And my business is Pinterest. So if it's happening to me, I know it's happening to you. So here's the thing. If you do go through a period of not pinning, just pick right back up and start pinning consistently. Don't beat yourself up about it. It happens to everyone. But try to stay consistent. And when I say consistent, I don't mean you have to post 10 pins a day to be consistent on Pinterest. Maybe your posting cadence is one a day. Maybe it's 3 times a week. Whatever you can do, make sure that you don't set a goal that's too big that you're not going to be able to commit to. Commit to what you can do and then just do that consistently. And you will grow. Sometimes slower, sometimes faster, depending on, what your strategy is, but you will grow if you continue to be on Pinterest posting consistently. Number 3, not doing your keyword research. So keyword research is really important on Pinterest. It's not like other social media platforms. I always say she's not like other girls. She is a search engine. Pinterest is a girl to me, apparently. So Pinterest is a visual search engine. So when you think about how you search for things on Google, or if you go to Pinterest and you're searching for things, how are you typing those? So when we're creating our pins, our titles, our text overlay, our board descriptions, we want to make sure we're incorporating those keywords into the pin. So when somebody's searching for that term, our pins come up. And you don't know what those terms are unless you do some keyword research. Now, I'm going to pop a video right up here that shows you exactly how to do keyword research on Pinterest. It's very in-depth and it will show you how to find a ton of keywords for your niche. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. All right, mistake number 4 is worrying way too much about impressions or views. Now, it's nice to have a lot of impressions. It shows on your Pinterest profile. It feels like a big deal. The nice thing with having impressions is that you know that your pins are getting seen. So they're on the page. But understand this about impressions. Impressions just mean it was on the screen. So it doesn't even mean that somebody actually took a look at your pin. It just means it was on the screen available to take a look at your pin. When you look at impressions, just take it with a grain of salt. It does not mean as much as you think it means. It just means that your pin is getting pushed out there, which is good news, but not the most important metric for you to look at. The most important metrics are outbound clicks, engagements, saves, things like that. Conversions, if you have your products on the platform, that's what's important. That's the thing that you really want to start tracking. Mistake number 5 is not adding a call to action to your pins. So whether it's on the pin itself, whether it's in the description, you want to add some sort of a call to action so people know what to do. If you want them to click through to your website, you need to tell them to do that. If you want them to save the pin, you need to tell them to do that. If you want them to read your blog, tell them that. So just make sure you're adding those call to actions in your pins. Mistake number 6 is worrying far too much about pinning the same URL within the same 7 days. Now, I see this on literally every Pinterest group, every Pinterest question. People are telling you that you can't pin to the same URL within 7 days. That is not a thing. That Pinterest has never said that was a problem. It's not a big deal to pin to the same URL within the same week. Now, do you want to pin to the same URL 20 times in one day? I would recommend that you don't, for multiple reasons. Number one, that may look spammy. It may be spammy. And number 2, you want to spread your pins out to multiple different landing pages, right? You want more of your content out there. You don't want just one URL. So when you are pinning URLs, try to space them out by at least a day. But I don't want you to sit there and worry so much about, oh my goodness, I think I pinned this on Tuesday. I can't pin it again on Sunday. That's within 7 days. Don't worry about that too much. It's just not something for you to stress about. As long as you are not spamming the system, Pinterest is not going to be upset if you post the same URL within 7 days. The more content you have, the less likelihood that's going to happen. Mistake number 7 is worrying way too much about having group boards, pinning to group boards, joining group boards. There is a Pinterest course out there right now with a very well-known influencer that still has the strategy to start posting to group boards, adding to group boards, getting into Tailwind communities. It's not really working anymore, and it's not where I want you to focus your efforts. Don't get in on group boards. If you have some group boards on your account, that's fine. They're not going to hurt you, but they're not really doing a whole lot for you now in 2024. So don't stress about joining group boards. If your account is brand new, you do not have to join groups. You do not have to post to Tailwind communities. You're good to go. So just concentrate on posting to your own boards. Mistake number 8 is a lot of people are thinking that in order to grow, you really have to interact with other creators, kind of like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these interactions, the building of relationships, that kind of thing is not as big of a thing on Pinterest. Now, you don't have to go comment on other creators' pins. That's not going to grow your account. If your goal is to get click-throughs to your website, to sell your products, to have people reading your blog, to join your coaching program, interacting with other people's pins are not going to help you get to that goal. So that is just a waste of time that you don't have to worry about. So check that off your list, not something to worry about. I always say that Pinterest is the introvert's platform because you can post and ghost and be just fine. So as long as your pins are good, they're optimized, and you are sending people to good content, you are going to grow on Pinterest. Stop stressing about having to interact with other people. You just don't have to. Mistake number 9. Now, this is something I hear a lot, is that you have to pin other creators' pins to your boards. And I'm going to tell you right now, you do not. You can pin just your own stuff to your own boards, and that is perfectly fine and acceptable. And what I do, I rarely post other people's pins to my board. Now, I do occasionally if I see a good pin that I think would be helpful to my audience, then yeah, I'll post it to a board. But it is not a strategy that you have to worry about. So if you have a friend and you want to post their pins, that's okay. You can certainly do that. But you don't have to say, oh, I need to post 5 of somebody else's pins onto this board and then 5 of my boards, or whatever the case may be. I see a lot of creators giving that advice. You don't have to do that. You can post purely your own content on your board. Now, there is a time where posting other people's content might be beneficial to you. If you are a brand new account and you don't have a ton of content of your own, then you can post content that would be helpful to people onto those boards from other creators, as long as they're not going to be competing with any pins that you're going to post. So if that's something you want to do to kind of get your Pinterest account warmed up because you're very brand new, that's okay to do. I'm not telling you you can't. You absolutely can. And I have done that with some brand new accounts that I work with. I'll post a couple of someone else's pins just to kind of get the profile warmed up. And then we just switch straight to posting our own stuff. And occasionally on my account, if I am, talking with somebody in a group or something and they have pins that I think are interesting, I'll post them to my account. It's not a hard and fast rule, but you don't have to. So that's the real tea on that. So last but certainly not least, probably one of the most important mistakes that people make on Pinterest is that they are just so impatient. Pinterest is not going to turn your business around if you need money today. Pinterest is a search engine, so it takes a while for Pinterest to learn what you're about. It takes a while for it to index your content. It takes a while for you to start seeing a huge return from Pinterest. But when you're laying that foundation on Pinterest, you're pinning your pins, you're staying consistent, you're adding your keywords to your titles and your descriptions, you're adding tags, you're doing all the right things. If you stay consistent, you will start seeing big results coming from Pinterest. It's just not an overnight success. You're probably looking at 6 to 9 months of consistent pinning before you're going to say, wow, I am seeing so much traffic from Pinterest. But if you're in business for the long haul, won't that be nice in 6 to 9 months to start having these pins that you posted that long ago coming back and helping your business? You don't have to consistently go, oh man, I have to come up with this new reel. I have to come up with this new thing. No, you can just consistently post on Pinterest and see those results just coming in on autopilot. So it's really like a mountain. It's like you're building this foundation and you're climbing this hill, and eventually you get to the top, and then you start seeing all of your efforts that you put in prior coming to fruition. So I just want to encourage you, stay patient with Pinterest and continue to do what is working for your account, continue to post, continue to try different things and see what works for you, but don't give up on the platform until you've really given it a good shot. And like I said, it could be 6 to 9 months, maybe a year. If you're not posting a ton of pins, if you're, maybe a 3-time-a-week pinner, give it at least a year to start seeing those results that you really wish that you were seeing. Now, I know that might seem like, oh, really? I have to pin that long before I get results? But the payoff is totally worth it. Now, if you are at a point in your business where you're ready to go ahead and just outsource that portion of your marketing, go ahead and click the link in my description. I do offer full Pinterest management services for businesses. I really like to work with e-commerce sellers, bloggers, coaches, and online business owners in general. So make sure to click that if that's something you're interested in. If you're not quite there yet, a strategy session might be something that works for you. So my strategy sessions are very intense and they're very personalized to you. It's basically you get to ask me any questions that you have. We can build a strategy specific for you, and then you are going to go out and implement that strategy. But you get to have my eyes on your account, and we'll develop a strategy that you can manage. It is super valuable. I've had such great feedback from my strategy sessions before. It has helped grow their Pinterest accounts. It's a one-time, one-off fee, so that link will be down in the description also. And I hope this was helpful and helped you just kind of calm down and relax. Focus on just staying consistent and getting those pins up, and you're going to be just fine on Pinterest. So don't stress about all the rules that people say there are. We can just chill and make Pinterest work for ourselves. So you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you back here next week.